Kandi Burruss has been a household name for years, from her legendary music career with Xscape to her iconic run on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. But in recent months, the spotlight has shifted onto her daughter, Riley Burruss. Now a young adult, Riley is no longer the shy kid we saw occasionally on screen. She's stepping into her own identity, and in doing so, she's sparking serious conversation, especially when it comes to her relationship with her stepfather, Todd Tucker. So, what exactly did Riley say? Is there real tension behind the scenes? And are the rumors of her exposing Todd Tucker even true? Let's break it all down, from what's confirmed to what's exaggerated, and how this family dynamic is playing out under intense public scrutiny. When Kandi Burruss married Todd Tucker in 2014, she didn't just gain a husband, she became part of a blended family. Kandi already had Riley, her daughter from a previous relationship, and Todd had a daughter named Kayla. And while on the surface it seemed like a modern family coming together, fans began noticing signs that not everything was picture perfect. Riley, often quiet and reserved on camera, never seemed particularly close to Todd. Their interactions were sometimes awkward, and while there was never any open conflict, viewers could feel the tension. Some fans even commented online, saying things like, "Riley never looked comfortable around Todd. There's a weird energy between them." Of course, public perception doesn't always equal reality. But in this case, it turns out Riley did have strong feelings, ones she's only recently begun to share more openly. Now 22 years old, Riley is no longer just Kandi's daughter. She's a full-grown woman with her voice and growing platform. In 2024, she graduated from NYU and began stepping more confidently into the public eye. Her most visible move so far? Signing on to Bravo's Next Gen NYC, a new reality show featuring the children of famous reality stars navigating adulthood in New York City. On this new show, Riley is sharing her story, in her words. And it didn't take long for viewers to realize, Riley's got something to say. While she hasn't launched direct accusations, what she's revealed about her upbringing, emotional distance from Todd, and her sense of being misunderstood has raised a lot of eyebrows. In early clips from Next Gen NYC, Riley talks about how she often felt judged or misunderstood growing up in the public eye. In one scene, she discusses being labeled as standoffish or cold because of her facial expressions or reserved energy, saying, "People say I'm intimidating or that I have an attitude, but they don't know what I've been through." Some fans interpreted those comments as subtle jabs, possibly at Todd. Longtime fans of RHOA may recall past moments where Todd and Riley clashed, especially about money, independence, and expectations. There was that infamous moment years ago when Todd suggested Riley get a job to learn responsibility. Kandi agreed at the time, but Riley didn't take kindly to the implication, especially since she'd grown up under very different circumstances than Todd's daughter, Kayla. Many fans saw that exchange as a clear sign of blended family friction. Later, Todd openly expressed frustration that Riley didn't acknowledge him more as a father figure. He even said in an interview that he sometimes felt like just the guy who married her mom. So when Riley recently opened up about feeling like she had to fight for space in her own home, some fans immediately connected the dots. Let's be clear, Riley Burruss has not directly accused Todd Tucker of anything harmful or inappropriate. There is no public statement in which she claims abuse, mistreatment, or neglect. But what she has done is express herself with a new clarity. She's spoken about emotional discomfort. She's acknowledged growing up in an environment where she didn't always feel safe to be herself. And she's hinted that certain relationships in her life felt forced. To some viewers, that was enough to interpret her statements as a subtle exposure of Todd Tucker's role in the household. But others say, Riley is just finally being honest about her experience, something any young adult might do as they reflect on childhood, especially when that childhood was lived on camera. Through it all, Kandi Burruss has remained fiercely protective of her daughter. In a recent interview, Kandi admitted she was nervous about Riley joining Next Gen NYC, saying, "Riley is reserved, and reality TV is not always kind to people who don't play the game. I just want her to be treated fairly." She went on to say she supports Riley's journey, but wants to make sure the public doesn't twist her words or pit family members against one another. Still, Kandi is caught between two worlds: loyalty to her husband of more than a decade and loyalty to the daughter she's raised alone since birth. So far, Todd Tucker hasn't publicly commented on Riley's statements. He remains active on social media, focused on his ventures including producing, real estate, and content creation. Some fans interpret his silence as maturity, choosing not to fuel headlines. Others feel it's cold. Either way, the lack of response only adds to the public's curiosity. Has he taken Riley's words personally? Are things tense behind closed doors? Or is this just the natural growing pains of a complex family dynamic being aired on TV? Riley's honesty has struck a nerve, not just because she's the daughter of a famous mom, but because her story reflects something deeply relatable for many. The challenge of growing up in a blended family, feeling unseen, or navigating complicated parental figures. Whether or not her comments were meant to expose Todd Tucker, they've opened up a larger conversation. And that might be exactly what she intended. As Riley steps into her power and public identity, fans will continue to watch closely, curious not just about what she'll say next, but about how the family as a whole will respond. Will Todd Tucker address her feelings publicly? Will Kandi be forced to choose sides more visibly? And most importantly, will this family find a way to heal privately, even as they live so much of their lives in front of the camera? One thing's for sure, Riley Burruss is no longer a background character. She's owning her narrative for better or worse. And whether she's exposing, expressing, or simply evolving, the world is finally listening. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Riley's words were directed at Todd Tucker? Is she right to speak her truth, even if it makes her family uncomfortable? Or is this another case of the internet blowing things out of proportion? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because we'll be following every update, every twist, and every revelation in this unfolding story.